What's good people? Someone has to tell me what is going on with the UFC and Aljamain Sterling. What did Aljamain Sterling do or say to the UFC? What did he say to Hunter Campbell? What did he say to Dana White? He has to have done something, because there is no way, boy, that you go from main eventing pay-per-views, then you move up a weight, and then they make you struggle to get into the title picture because you're out here fighting contenders, and on top of that, they now relegate you to a prelim fighter. The dude was main eventing Boston. He was the headline attraction. Sure, it was built up for Sugar Sean O'Malley and the UFC wanted him to win because he's their dude, but still, you were the main event of a pay-per-view and now you are a prelim fighter back to back. What is going on? The UFC, something has to have been done or said by Aljamain to the UFC that has ticked them off, or they don't appreciate him, because I'm tired of hearing this thing of, oh, he's not a draw, or he doesn't do this, because if Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena can main event a pay-per-view, then surely you do not care about who's a draw. I don't even know if anyone is going to be that intrigued to watch Bryce Mitchell versus Gracie, but that is on the pay-per-view, and the UFC saying this person's a draw. The UFC knows that they can build fighters. We see it with Bo Nickel, we saw it with Sugar Sean O'Malley. They strategically put fighters in positions so that audiences see them, so that they get built up. With Aljamain Sterling, it's clear that the UFC do not care for building him. They are literally making him, it's like I don't know what's a good example, but it's clear that the UFC is making him climb his way back up into the headlines, into prestige, whatever it may be. The dude is the most decorated bantamweight champion in the UFC. He's the only dude to defend the champion 3 times, but that's not enough. The guy is still out here fighting. Heck, the first 2 episodes of Embedded came out and I did not see any sign of Aljamain Sterling, but I did see Temba Gorimbo. So the UFC strategically putting Temba Gorimbo in the eyes of fans so that people can get familiarized with Temba Gorimbo. You can see there's a bit of a push going on with Temba Gorimbo, but there was no Aljamain Sterling from what I remember from the first 2 episodes. Now I could be wrong. Maybe I was watching those episodes while I was half asleep, half drunk. I do not know, but I don't remember seeing Aljamain Sterling. I don't see him a lot in the interviews. He had to post his own countdown video of him versus Morozov on his YouTube channel. He is literally trying to build this fight. He has been doing all the work that you'd hope the UFC would do for him. Genuinely, I think it's him not wanting to fight Sugar Sean O'Malley and then coming out after he got knocked out and saying the UFC forced him. He was, the UFC, I don't know what the correct term is, but they kind of persuaded him or peer pressured him into fighting Sugar Sean O'Malley when he wanted some time to rest. He wanted some time to, recover, as a champion is entitled to. A champion should have the privilege of resting and then coming back once they're ready, but he was not afforded that luxury, and maybe the UFC felt as though that was extremely shady, that was disrespectful, because you can't tell me the dude is not being put into the pay-per-view scene because he does not sell. He's a boring fighter. Amanda Nunes, who sells 5,000 pay-per-views, was the headline of a pay-per-view. The UFC is getting good money from ESPN, so it's very rare for them to really care about how good a pay-per-view is or how good the main card is, unless they really want to. Well, I will give them credit. This year has been a great year for their pay-per-views. Maybe ESPN was like, hey, you want to renegotiate next year? You want a good deal? Put up some good pay-per-views. The Saudis are doing a good job and they're not getting any profit from it. We're paying you a good amount of money, so you better start putting up some good pay-per-views. So maybe that's why this year the UFC was very adamant in putting on really good cards. But besides that, what's going on with the UFC and Aljamain Sterling?